Welcome to Stepping on the Mat podcast, episode 016 with me, Aaron Martinez. My guest today is a high school wrestling standout who has big goals in mind. She is a multi-time AAU and USA Wrestling Girls State Champion. She has been competing and winning in national and international competitions for some time. She is the first ever Iowa Girls State Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest, Katie Biscoglia. Welcome to the show, Katie.
Hello, welcome. Or not welcome. Whoa.
See, now it's on you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. We're gonna knock all the mistakes out right away. And we have a good excuse to do that because we just got done finishing jiu-jitsu practice. You're the one of two people that I've ever invited to come that's been a guest on the podcast to come do jiu-jitsu. So thank you so much for coming to do that. What are your thoughts about it?
It was a lot of fun. It was really different, but it was really similar but different. Like there was a lot of places where I'm like, oh, I know how to do this. And then I when we just started would it be fighting?
Yeah.
Wrestling, going live.
Rolling, going live.
Going live. It was very different.
Yeah. What do you think obviously, I mean, it's your first time kind of messing with it. What did you feel like the big difference was when you were going live?
That it's okay to be on your back.
I seen you.
That
I looked over
mind-boggling. That was just messing me up.
Yeah. And you're hesitant. You're like, what should I belly out? What should I do here? Yeah. And you were working with Jen. She was obviously, you guys were being good partners with each other, asking a lot of questions and giving a lot of feedback. Mm-hmm. That was pretty awesome. I was talking to your dad when you were actually doing some of the warm-ups, and we were talking about some of the drills, right? Some of the warm-up drills. And is there some similarities that you've seen that you do for wrestling warm-ups?
Well, a lot of it is just kind of rolling around, loosening out. So in the beginning, obviously, when you're rolling and cartwheeling, but then when you started drilling, that's just kind of the same thing as when you go and hit some shots or do stand-ups, but it was just jiu-jitsu-ified, I guess you could say.
That's gonna be a sweet shirt. You've been jiu-jitsu-fied. Well, I want to do something before we really get rolling in the podcast. I have tons of questions for you, and I feel like this podcast is going to last forever since this is our second shot at it.
Oh yeah.
So I just want to give you a gift. Since you gave me a gift, some hand sanitizer earlier.
A present?
I'm going to give you a present here.
For me?
While she's unwrapping that, earlier we were talking about gum on the mat. I don't know if other gyms are allowed to have chewing gum on the mat. Dad? So, both me and Katie were rule breakers tonight and had gum on the mat. But I asked her to spit it in my hand because she was like, "Where's the trash?" So she gifted me with some hand sanitizer. Now, this is just a little gift from a collective group of good people that were associated with myself, Tony Haggard, IA Wrestle, and Eakin Nutrition.
Do you have what it takes? Do you have what it takes to be a champion? We did nutrition the old way. We take nutrition to the next level. We have what it takes at Eakin Nutrition.
What's your weight going to be?
Probably around 100. Right now, I'm kind of weighing around 100.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I broke 100 this year.
Uh-oh.
No, that's good. It's first time ever weighing 100 pounds. I had a 100-pound party. We ate crab legs.
That's awesome.
It was very fun. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this year I'll go 100, and then we'll just see in the upcoming years what happens.
Yeah. What did your brother wrestle through high school? Do you remember?
So his freshman year, he wasn't on. I'm pretty sure he wrestled 106, and then sophomore year.
You're getting booed over here. They're like, eh.
They're laughing at me. Sophomore year, I think he wrestled 106, and then junior year 13, and then senior year 25. Right?
Awesome. Yeah. So progressively working his way up.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty common for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I only imagine you're going to gain some size as you get older as well. So let's just keep this super casual here. What's been going on obviously since the last time I seen you, and then what's kind of been going on as you're into school and getting ready to prepare for wrestling season?
So right before school, I like missed like a week of school. I was in Brazil wrestling at I don't know what was it called? It was the ISF high school tournament. And then I got back, and then I think it was oh God, let me think. I think we went straight into Wrestle Like a Girl duels, Wrestle Like a Girl, something like that. A couple tournaments in Iowa City, and then last week was Super 32, and then next week or like this weekend is going to be preseason.
Yeah.
And then the season starts.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about Super 32?
It was a good learning experience for me. I didn't wrestle as well as I think I could have or I should have, but I definitely went down there. I learned a lot. Had a couple good matches, had a couple mess ups. I had a lot of fun though, and it was a really cool trip, a really fun experience. It was my first time down there, but I'm hoping I can go back next year. I'm excited to see what'll happen next year.
Yeah, just the atmosphere alone with all the good talent that's in the room, and there's just that different atmosphere too of like the crowd control, right? So like Super 32, like people are mat side, you know?
Oh yeah.
It's a totally different environment. I mean, I didn't get to go down, but I did watch at least the finals and the semi and quarterfinals of the boys, and man, it was pretty intense.
Oh yeah, there's like so many matches. Even if you just like sit down and watch a match, you'll see so much talent down there. A lot of like my friends from all over went down there, and they're pretty high level wrestlers. So it was really cool to just like be able to watch people wrestle, and it was like really good wrestling.
Yeah. Did you pick up on anything? Like I'm that way. Like I'm a studier, right? Like if I like me and you kind of rolled a little bit the last time, but I'm picking up all kinds of stuff when we're in that process. You know, are you that way as a wrestling fan? You pick up moves and.
Sometimes if I like go back and watch videos and I'm able to like pause it and rewind it and slow it down, I usually learn a little bit better that way than if I just watch it happen and it happens really quickly. If I see it happen multiple times, most of the time I can like think back to it and be like, oh yeah, I can hit this. But like the other day I was watching the Matt Ramos Spencer Lee match again, and he hits that like, I don't know, he like snapped him, I think Spencer shot, and it was kind of like a cow catcher.
He's like a cow catcher,
yeah. Cow catcher kind of thing, and
he baited him into it.
Oh yeah. Watching that, and I think I hit it at practice a couple days later because I was just thinking back to it, but I don't think it was as clean. But I mean, that's just kind of the way that my brain works, is if I watch something, I can go back and watch it again, and it just like clicks a little better.
Yeah, I had a great time watching you train tonight, and I noticed that about you is that like my son's that way. Like I show him something once and he's kind of like got it, you know, he's like he's ready to go play with it already, you know. Like some people, it takes them a little bit longer to kind of like understand what's happening, or like where'd my arm go. Like you were right in there right away getting after it, and that's awesome. Your IQ, I can tell, is very high. And I did notice you were trying to do a little arm bar thing, like from our feet. You were locking that, 2-on-1, and then you like did a little torque on my arm. That was interesting. I might want to play with that a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of my own spin on it. My brother, growing up, he's a really big 2-on-1 guy, and a lot of like when I was younger, a lot of my wrestling was just kind of what my brother did because I'd been watching it for so long. So originally, I just like kind of did the 2-on-1, but as I've like gotten older and kind of like played around with it and figured out how it worked, I figured out if you twist it a little bit, works a little bit more.
Yeah, it gets the rest of the body moving.
Yeah.
I noticed that when you were doing it to me. It elevates the elbow and it causes the body to kind of shift in one direction. Just get a little switch down and hit that single leg on the outside. It's pretty nice. So let's back up in your history here. How did you get into wrestling? And then the second part of the question is, how did you know that it was for you?
So I think I was in like 3rd, 4th grade. It was 2017. And before wrestling, I was in gymnastics, but I was not very good at it. And one day my brother was up in Colorado at the Olympic Training Center. He was up there, and I think he was wrestling, like he was wrestling one of those one of the really good girls. I think it was maybe Felicity.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been Rachel Waters. I don't know. One of those girls. And he comes back and he's talking to my dad and he's like, well, why doesn't Katie do this? There's other girls that do this. Like, I mean, we're a wrestling family. Why doesn't she do this? So we kind of thought about it a little bit, and I wasn't very good at gymnastics. So I went to a wrestling practice, and then we kept going to wrestling practice. And then I feel like when I knew that it was like really for me was probably like a couple. I mean, I just kind of did it, but I think I was just doing it because like it was like, hey, we're going to wrestling practice. But then a couple years in is when I like really started to be excited for like practice. Like I'd be like, oh, like after school I get to go to wrestling practice. And that was like after he started taking me to club and I like was around all those like.
Now you're talking about club. You're talking about Pablo's.
Yeah, Pablo Bassa. He started, actually, there's a really funny picture of me. The first ever time he took me to wrestling practice at Pablo's. He told me we're going, and I was terrified. I started crying, and he took a picture of it. It's really funny. But we started going to Pablo's, and then I made so many friends there. Like some of my best friends I've made from wrestling. But then I'd be so excited to go to practice and see them, and it started to be fun to like roll around on the mat.
Yeah, you'll notice that about my gym. The more you come there, like we just got really good rapport with each other. It's like a family. And speaking of Pablo, I'm hoping to get him on here soon. I'll get the good stories about you from Pablo.
Hopefully he doesn't tell too many.
He'll tell some good ones.
Oh yeah, I bet he will.
So you kind of mentioned that your family kind of got you and you followed your brother's footstep. Your dad, James, is a wrestling coach. So tell me kind of how the family concept is, is it you guys working together as a family unit as a wrestling thing?
Well, we all play a role. Like my brother's up at college right now. My dad is my high school wrestling coach, and my mom is basically in the room every day. So she's always helping. But like even when we were younger, it was a whole family thing. My sister was a wrestling manager. My brother was in high school. I was in youth. My mom was a wrestling mom, and my dad was on the Hawkeyes coaching staff. So it's always just been a family thing. Like it's always been like, oh, we have wrestling practice, let's all go. But like even now, it's where my parents are at the gym every day, and they're always out there helping. But a lot of like the family aspect of it is we all like my brother will look at my matches, he'll watch me wrestle.
Yeah.
My dad obviously is like probably my number one supporter. He's always coaching me and watching my matches. My mom always videotapes, but there's like always a role for everyone to play.
It's probably better your mom videotapes so that way you can actually see the match. If I'm videotaping, forget about it.
I mean, she has her moments, but for the most part, she does a good job. I'll give her credit. Sometimes it gets a little iffy.
It's like starts always going like this, right? Yeah. That's awesome. So tell me a little bit something else about your family. Like maybe tell me a little bit about your family dynamics outside of wrestling.
Well, so right now, both my siblings, they live up at college. Like they live up there. But my family at home, a lot of times like we'll like always have to like go on trips together, and like we spend a lot of time with wrestling. But I think probably another more important part is spending time out of wrestling. But I mean, obviously we have, it's mainly wrestling, but when we like don't do things, like when we go on trips, we always like at the beginning of the trip or the end of the trip, a lot of times we'll go like do something fun. Like one time we ended up, I think we were trying to fly back from Texas, and we ended up in like Washington on a layover. And we went to like, I think it was like a cemetery. I don't know. We do a lot of historical stuff.
Right.
When we go places, we do like a lot. We go like look at.
They're not doing a seance, everybody.
No,
they're doing.
We're doing educational things.
Yeah.
Like we do a lot of like Civil War stuff.
That's cool. Yeah.
Like even I think one time we went to some like I don't know, like a battleground. I don't know. We went to Thomas Jefferson's house up Monticello. But we do a lot of fun things and like together that's like outside of wrestling too, which I think is important.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that. Like because there's different dynamics that I see in families with wrestling, right? You got like the family that is like in it, their kids in it, and then there's a lot of tension, right? There's like a lot of like fighting and bickering back and forth, and the struggle of like trying to be parent and guide your kid and give them advice, and then and then you see those families that like your family that travels and does these things together and finds fun ways to get involved with other things outside of the wrestling. So what would you say like one of the number one things is that your family's benefited from being in wrestling?
I think it's pulled us more closer together because like my dad, he kind of gets what I'm going through. My dad and my brother, they kind of know like when I've had a bad practice. Even my mom, sometimes they know like when I've had a bad practice, like that I mean, I might not be very happy with it. Like I might be upset after a tournament, but they know that like it's just like one thing. Like they know how to make me feel better because they've gone through the same thing. Like, and it's just something we can all connect with. Even my sister, like if I like don't really have as good as a tournament as I wanted to, she's always like, hey, good job, good run. Like next one will be better. And then she'll start talking to me about other stuff. And it's just like we all get each other. And I think wrestling's brought us all closer together where we can understand and just like be more positive towards each other. If that makes sense.
And I guess they've had some practice too. Your older brother, Kyle, he's a 3-time Iowa high school state champion, right? He is a Division I wrestler and All-American. Tell me a little bit about your brother and what that was like growing up with him.
So, I mean, obviously, like I said, one of the main reasons I got into wrestling was my brother. And I'd say probably one of the reasons that I started like actually getting good was my brother because like when we started going to club, started going to Pablo's, like he could drive, so they just put me in the car with him. I don't think my dad had to take me to Pablo's until like, I think like the second year I started doing it because there was just high schoolers and they just put me in the car with them. But he definitely has been like a really good role model for me because a lot of my wrestling that I do, most of it kind of mimics his style a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and if like, whenever he's home, like a lot of times we'll just kind of end up on the floor like, hey, come look at this. Like my dad will be like, she keeps doing this. And he'll be like, well, then do this. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But he's definitely like one of my more role models that I like can look to and I can see like he's doing this, but it's not working, or like he's doing this and I'm doing this, but what he's doing is working better. So if I need to start switching something, I can go look at him or I can talk to him about that.
Yeah. Well, I think you couldn't have picked a better role model. He's a great wrestler, but he's also academic savvy.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe talk a little bit about your brother's academic success as well.
Well, I think he had a 4.0 GPA in high school, I'm pretty sure. I think he had a 3.9 in college, and now he's at Iowa for med school, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and he's got a couple majors. Is that correct?
I think he's in college. I know he had a bio major and then a religion major.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool that he could kind of do both of those and learn both of those at the same time. And I think right now I don't really know how med school works. I think he's just in med school.
Awesome. That's awesome. So religion, is that something important for your guys' family? You guys a faith-based family?
Yeah, we are, I'm going to get this right. We're Christian. We are Catholic. Sometimes, right guys?
Sometimes we are, yeah.
Sometimes I mess that up.
That's all right.
I actually just got confirmed about a couple weeks ago, and that was a whole process. But my brother is very religious. Whenever like we like pray before we eat, usually he does it. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, his fiance actually was my my like confirmation sponsor. My confirmation sponsor. So yeah, we're a pretty religious family.
That's good. Now, having religious as a structure, right, is a good platform for that base. But as we grow, we learn how to develop our faith, right? And I feel like wrestlers, athletes always have, a really good position on how they grow faith because they're testing it all the time, right? We do really, in wrestling, we do hard things, right? Is that a part of your, is that a part of your routine to, prep yourself, is to continue to build like your faith?
Yeah, I think sometimes I'm not really the kind of person that like right before I wrestle, I go out and I pray, but usually sometimes like at the beginning of the day or the end of the day, that's kind of when I pray. But a lot of like kind of what like wrestling kind of is kind of like you said is like the testing and building your faith. And I keep like I try to like work towards that a little bit.
A little one step at a time, right? Yeah. Yeah. You're young and life is going to develop you and shape you in so many different ways. So a part of shaping and developing is, it's important to have mentors. So if you could think about it just for a second, I want you to maybe think about 3 different mentors you've had in your life and then share a little bit about them and some of those experiences with them.
So obviously the first mentor that comes to my mind is my dad. He's like the reason that I got into wrestling. He's been beside me the entire time. And one of the like more main things I've learned with him, he tells us this during wrestling. He says, you can do hard things. Yeah. And that like is kind of like something that like pushes me. And he tells me a lot of good things. I used to have a sign on my wall that he wrote for me before some tournament. It says, what's important now, which is something he says a lot. What's important now, why not me, is something he says a lot. But he's really just my like motivation, one of my motivators. And he like he's just always there for me. So he's probably my biggest mentor. Whenever someone asks me that question, he's what comes to mind because he's always there for me. He's my coach, he's my dad. He's like he's just like always with me. He's always there for me. My second mentor probably is someone I got really, really close with last year. He was kind of like my coach at high school. Is Ryan Leisure. He wrestled for Iowa State. I think he was up at Clear Lake in high school, maybe. Clear Lake in high school. I got really, really close with him last year. He was like kind of like my legging coach. And he coached me in the state finals. But he's unfortunately not coaching with us this year. Because he's like, I think he's coaching. Was he coaching? He's in Missouri.
He's in Missouri.
His wife was like, I think she got like sent there for work. So yeah, but we'll miss him this year. But he was one of my bigger mentors last year. He wrote before state, we wrote this paper, and it was like I will take time when I'm drilling. I will practice hard, and at the end of it, it was like this is your recipe for your state championship. I have that hung up on my bookshelf right now so I can still see it. But he was definitely one of the more like last year he was part of the reason I think that I got to where I got because he was just like always there for me, always in my corner. I'd say my third mentor is probably Pablo. Pablo's one of my bigger supporters as well. I mean, after every tournament he watches a lot of my matches. And whenever I come to practice, if I need something, he's always there to show me how to do it. He has coached me through like so many hard points in wrestling at that club. Even like he's believed in me the entire time. I used to be the only girl there. Now we have about 5 or 6 girls.
Awesome. But
he always believed in me. He never was like negative towards me. He never like tried to kick me out because I was a girl. I mean, that's never happened to me, but he was very accepting and welcoming, which is really important. It was important because I was like one of the only girls. But he's always there for me. He's always, if I like ask him a question, he'll show it to me. He's stayed after with me. He's worked on stuff with me before. He's done privates for me. He's probably one of the obviously he's one of the reasons that I'm where I'm at today.
Yeah, he's one of the guys that kind of set off club teams here in Iowa as well. I haven't really had too many chances to see him coach. I've only had him in one interaction coaching with him is when during COVID they came up and used my gym. Mm-hmm. Really? But what would you say his difference is between other coaches?
One of the differences between like other coaches and him is he'll push us, but he's also always going to be like there for us. Like no matter what, he's going to be behind us. He's going to like he just really wants us to be good. I mean, he tells us, he's like, come on, you have to work hard. I love you guys, but you need to work harder. And the way he coaches, it's just kind of like some people just like, I'm not going to say wouldn't understand, but the way he coaches is very unique. And I think that's probably part of the reason that we have like a really good, like we're all friends in there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, just like we all connect with him, and he's just always like there for us.
Yeah. So you did that from what grade to what grade?
I think I started going there in like probably fifth grade.
Fifth grade,
Maybe fifth, sixth grade. And I still go there now. So that's like 3-4 years.
That's
And
awesome.
we used to be in Johnston, the Johnston High School. And then we went to the Hawkeyes High School, and now he's got his own gym.
He's got his own place now.
So it's really cool to be able to see how that all progressed. I mean, the first time I think I ever practiced in there, it was like middle of summer, and there were 2 mats down.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've got like signs on the walls. We've got our gear in there. He's got dummies. He's got crash mats. It's really cool to be able to see how that like gym progressed and how he's grown as a coach.
Yeah, it's different. Like, you know, managing a club, you got to pay the bills, you know, like
Yeah.
It's cool if you could always use a school, but like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, that it takes some time to build that process.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that Pablo's got his stuff up and running and things are going well for him. So, but now you're over at the Raccoon Wrestling Club, Raccoon River Wrestling
Raccoon
Club.
River Wrestling, yeah.
And your dad, James, is the coach over there, right? The head coach. So that's like a co-op, right? That's like several different teams
Yep.
together. You want to explain what
So-
how that works?
So it's Adel, Van Meter, Waukee, and then the new school, Waukee Northwest. It's all 4 schools. And I think this year we have 60 girls out between high school and middle school, which is, I mean, that's quite a lot. I think we have 2 full mats in our room. So it's going to be just a little tight, but it'll be fun. I'm really excited. Last year, I think we had about 45, 50 girls. So it's
a lot.
Yeah. And I think last year we graduated like 2 or 3. So, I mean, I think we're going to have a pretty strong team this year. And I'm really glad that more girls are getting brought in because there's going to be new faces, new opportunities. I'm really excited for this year.
Did you get new singlets?
No.
You're rocking
No,
the same old thing?
yeah,
Okay.
same
Right
singlets.
on, right on. They know you're coming back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So who's some of the standout returners that are coming back?
We actually have, I mean, there's a couple of us, like me and then Callista Rodish. We were the 2 wrestlers that had previous, like the 2 main wrestlers that had previous experience. But
I've trained with her mom a little bit.
yeah, yeah, I think they have jiu-jitsu background.
Yeah, and
a little bit.
kickboxing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's some couple like second-year wrestlers, and then we have a couple girls that moved over to like Waukee or Adel. But we have there's
Come on, give some shout outs. Give some shout outs.
I'm thinking of their last names. I'm not gonna.
Just say the first names.
Okay, so there's Vicky. She qualified for Fargo last year.
Okay.
There's actually my training partner Quincy. She also went to Fargo, and then there's her Reese from Perry. I think she moved here from. She's gonna be a hammer this year. And then Aaliyah Johnson. She is gonna be a 2nd-year wrestler this year, but she's gonna be pretty good. And there's Bree, who came from, I think, like North Scott? Newton. Started with an N. I knew it. But she'll be pretty good this year, too. I'm really excited. I feel like there's also a couple other girls. Jeff McGinnis's daughter is going to be really good next year. She's in middle school, but I'm really excited to have her in the room because she's someone that's going to be able to push other people. But those are like the main.
That's interesting. He didn't mention that on the show when he was on.
And she's a very nice girl. I wrestled with her the other day. I actually used to wrestle with her when I was really little in the Waukee like youth room. And then I think she kind of moved towards soccer, but now she's coming back out.
Yeah. He mentioned that his daughter played soccer. So yeah, that's interesting.
yeah.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. So you got some good training partners over there.
Oh, yeah.
You're ready to go. You're a sophomore this year. Feeling good. What about any new upcomers, people that are new coming into the program that are going to be possible standouts?
So like I said, there's Reese and Brianna they're going to be new. There's a couple other girls that like, I mean, we haven't started practice yet. So, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be more, but there's a couple girls that, I mean, I've seen that they're like really athletic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once they start to figure out the like wrestling, once they start to figure out how to move their body and like what's what, I think they're going to like click into it really fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like yourself as a person that kind of coaches as well? Do you find yourself like helping out people, or are you like really locked into your game?
I feel like when I'm at practice, it kind of like depends. Like last year, a lot of girls would be like, "Hey, Katie, how do you do this?" Because obviously they knew that I had some experience. And even I think I went, like it was a couple days ago, I went into the middle school practice room with my dad because I needed a ride. And I was in there and I just kind of started jumping with a girl because she needed a partner.
That's good.
And I just started showing her how to do stuff. And like, I think I like showing people how to do things. But during practice, if it's like most of the time, if we're like learning a new move or like we're in the middle of a drill set, my dad will be like, "Okay, everyone look at Katie." And then I'll do it. And if they have questions, since they just already saw me doing it, they'll ask me and I can go over there and fix it. But a lot of the time, I kind of like wait for people to ask me.
Sure.
Because if I'm working, my wrestling partner, Quincy, sometimes like I'll be working with her and then someone will jump in and be like, "Hey, can you show me this?"
Sure.
And sometimes I watch other groups, but most of the time I'm kind of mainly focused on me and her because like I'm trying to make her better because she's my wrestling partner probably for the next 4 years.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, I can't wait until I get to like wrestle with her at duels and stuff. But like, yeah, like I said, I wait for them to ask me and I can show them that.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, I imagine that some of the younger girls, they're seeing you and you're like, "Oh, that's the state champ. That's the champ right there." Right. So that, that's a good feeling to have. But is there anybody that you look up to that's either like in high school or outside of high school that are female wrestlers?
I mean, there's
athletes, female
yeah.
athletes.
Yeah, there's so many girls that like I grew up like around like in wrestling. But I mean, I have one memory. I was at, I think it was Fargo or one of the big tournaments, and Elena Vederick and Felicity Taylor came over and they came and like said hi to me and brought me over. Like it was like pretty low, like mat side. I don't know, some around. We went and sat somewhere, but I've always like, since there's a group of us girls that we all started out around the same time, and there's like we all kind of have like a connection. It's kind of like a bond because we all know what each other had to go through. We all had to like grow up, I guess you could say, or like start in the boys' rooms. Whereas now, I mean, obviously the girls can go into the girls' high school rooms, but there's just like a special like bond that we all have because we know what each other went through to get there. But as like role model wise, I definitely looked up to like the Lily Luffs. I know this one's a little bit funny, but I look up to Kiara Jamesi. Probably, I think I got that right. But I look up to her a lot because she's always such like a positive person, and I'm really good friends with her. But she's such a positive person, and she wrestles with such like comfortableness and just like positivity, and that like I kind of strive to be like her. Other girls that I look up to are honestly just like girls that I've been wrestling with, even though they're like Jillian Worthen. I've been wrestling with her for so long, and I can admire that she's up there in the immortal room. She's probably having to wrestle some of the boys up there, which are pretty tough. But a lot of the girls that I look up to are honestly, they're in high school with me. I mean, obviously we all look up to the Rachel Waters, Felicity Taylor, all of those studs that are up in college right now. But even in high school, there's so many good role models. There's so many good people you can look to. And I really just think that like there's something in everybody.
Yeah. And you mentioned Coach Vederick, right?
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
the Norwalk coach now for the ladies.
Mm-hmm.
So having her, I had her on the show, and she, you know, we talked about a little bit of the past when she was, you know, coming up as a youth wrestler and having to wrestle boys.
Mm-hmm.
So did you have to wrestle boys very much?
Yeah, I grew up wrestling boys. Whenever there was a girl in the room, if we were the same size, usually we went together. And I still wrestle boys at Pablo's because I think it's important to get like different feels, good feels. But a lot of like when I was in youth, it was only boys.
Yeah.
My like one of my main couple training partners are boys. And I mean, I go with a mix of different people because I like to, you know, have different feels and all that.
Yeah.
But I think it was definitely like really important for me to wrestle the boys because I feel like that gave me something that you can't really get from wrestling girls, kind of like that like toughness. Because sometimes girls, I mean, I'm not like stereotyping, but a lot of times the boys wrestle a little bit differently than the girls, whereas like they're a little bit more like, oh, I need to win, like I can't lose to this girl.
Sure.
And that like drives them to wrestle better, which I think makes me better.
Yeah. I was checking in on your dad to make sure it's gonna be cool. I'm gonna mix it up tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I threw a Sai on you. I get
Yeah.
you through with the girl, and then I threw you with a Sai
Yeah.
real quick. So and I
Mhm.
knew and I could tell as soon as you guys started, you appreciated it. You went a little harder with the
Yeah.
Sai too,
Yeah.
right? Than you did
Yeah.
with the female. So that's awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like when you were coming up as a kid, and even now in high school, you know, people are mean in high school, people are mean in junior high and elementary school. Do you feel like the girls treated you differently because you were a wrestler?
When I was younger, I kind of thought it was like the coolest thing ever, that like I was doing this and none of my friends were doing it. So it was kind of like one of my like personalities. Like they all knew that I did it, and it was kind of like, hey, that's really cool. But even now, it's like something, it's like respect from a lot of like even the upperclassmen at my school. They know that what I'm doing is hard, and like they probably don't really have the guts for that. But like even like the like younger classmen, I guess, like there's this one girl that is at my school. She's really little. But she wrestles, and every time she sees me, she's like, "Hi, Katie."
That's awesome.
And it's like I've created like kind of like friendships with people at my school.
Yeah.
A lot of the little ones look up to me a little bit, but a lot of like even
I look up to you. I mean, I imagine that a young girl seeing you accomplish goals is gonna like just be fire-eyed right on you, you know, locked in.
Yeah, and it's really awesome to see that like I am there, like Felicity, I'm there, Elena. But a lot of like even the kids that are the same age as me, they like respect me because they know that this isn't something that like it's not like something like easy, or it's not like I'm just doing it because it's like no one else is doing it, but it's something that's hard and that I work for.
Yeah, for sure. And what would you say, like, I'm sure that you've inspired other people to join, other female wrestlers or other females?
So one of my best friends I think it was in 8th grade. Yeah. So I was actually having a conversation with my coach because my middle school coach, he was trying to get other girls to come out because I was the only girl wrestling. And he was like, "Oh, well, what about Olivia?" Her name's Olivia. And I was like, "Oh no, she's never gonna do that." Her brother wrestled. Both of her brothers wrestled. And then like 10 minutes later, she texted me. She's like, "Hey, I think I'm gonna go out for wrestling."
That's awesome.
And we were pretty good friends, but after she went out for wrestling, we got like way closer. She still wrestles. And then one of her really good friends who actually wrestled with me in 6th grade, but then I think she wanted to focus on basketball a little bit. But then she came back out, and now there's like 4 or 5 girls in high school and middle school that wrestle. And I mean, we're all pretty good friends with each other, but she was definitely like the person that kind of started all the other girls coming out. I mean, because she came out because like she wanted to do it with me.
Yeah. And, you know, being in that lead spot, you know, you're up front, you're at the spearhead of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your accomplishments, you know, coming out your freshman year, first year out, you know, you win state at 100 pounds, you go undefeated, like, wow, you know, like that's huge. Congratulations, first
Thank
of all.
you.
Like,
Thank
I
you
know
so much.
as a wrestler myself, as my kid wrestles, my entire family are built of wrestlers, and I know how hard that is, and how much work it takes to do that, and not it doesn't happen by luck. So congratulations to you and your family on that, and your team for helping you get there as well.
Oh yeah.
But that just kind of sets up the next thing, right? And you've already been spending time this year putting work in other parts of your freestyle game, and then going down to Super 32 and stuff like that. But like, obviously the next point is like, you got to win another one, right?
Yeah.
So, and not to try to establish any pressure, but like, what's your mindset looking like coming into because you guys are how many days out now? Like you're in single digits now, right? Yeah.
I think it's 5. I'm excited. It's going to be like, I honestly think it's going to be pretty different from last year, because last year it was kind of like everyone was like testing the waters, seeing if they liked it. But I think this year is going to be mainly like the girls that are all in. Like they want to win. They want to, like, they all want to be on top. But obviously it's a lot of pressure because last year was such a good year for me. And this year it's going to be, it's going to be tougher because everyone's getting better. Hopefully I'm getting better too. But I'm excited. It's going to be it's going to be a pretty long season.
Yes. Wrestling season is very long.
Yes.
It goes forever.
We added a few tournaments that I'm pretty excited for. I think we're going to the Clash. We're taking a charter bus for the first time.
That's cool.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
But there, like at those tournaments, there's gonna be better. It's gonna be like better competition than I had last year. But it's still like I'm so excited. I have such a great group of people that I like have even on my wrestling team. And I've created so many like bonds with people that are not like just because of wrestling. Some of my like favorite memories from wrestling happened last high school season. And I'm also like, I'm really excited for the state tournament. That was so much fun last year, getting to like write our names on the brackets. I think it was really cool that it sold out. And like right after I won, there's like my favorite video ever. I told myself, I was like, I'm not going to cry, because sometimes I'm a crier. But
and that's okay.
Yeah. I didn't cry when I won, signed my name. And then as I was walking back to go like do like interviews and stuff, all of my friends that like had gone to state with me, they all came running down the tunnel, and they all came and gave me a hug, and like,
and then you cried.
And then I cried.
That's usually how that happens.
Yeah,
right?
no, it was the waterworks. We were all crying.
That's that energy exchange.
That's like, that was one of my like special moments. I'm never gonna forget that. That
I
was
bet.
like I it didn't really click until then. Like I did it. It's like it's like a breath.
Yeah.
And that was really when I was like, this is my family. Like before I was like, oh yeah, these are my sisters. I love them all. But after that, seeing how excited they were for me and how much love and passion that they had for me, it was like, yeah, those are my sisters. That's my family. This is where I belong. And it was such a special moment, and it's something that I'll really like remember and cherish forever.
Yeah, and you also got something pretty special too. Is your dad was in your corner for the finals as well. I know I've seen the match. I watched it. So yeah, that's just cool too. Like you guys could have that together as well.
Yeah, I mean he's always the one like pumping me up before I wrestle, and he's always like the first one to give me a hug and be like, "Great job." But one of my favorite pictures is right after my state tournament. He grabbed me and I jumped in the air. It's so special that he's able to always be there for me. Like he's always gonna be like number one. I'm like, if if there's 100 people talking and while I'm wrestling, the only voice I can hear is his. And it's something that I think I'm really lucky to have, because a lot of people can't have that. But I mean, I'm really excited for the next 3 years, see what we can accomplish.
First sanctioned girls tournament, first state champion, first undefeated state champion. Signing the bracket, really cool. Mm-hmm. The event seemed pretty cool.
Oh, it was so cool. We got like the people who put it together did such a good job. Like the refs.
I know. I think they might have rattled some feathers. I mean, the boys might have to step their stuff up now.
Yeah. I mean, like the mat tape, like it was such small attention to detail. The mat tape,
clean.
It was pink.
Yeah.
The mat tape was pink. All the officials were wearing pink. Like it was something. It didn't feel like it was like, oh, we have to be in a smaller arena. The boys, they're in Wells Fargo. We're in Extreme. It was more of like this is girls wrestling.
Yeah, it's the way that you guys do it.
It was special. It was unique for us. It was like, it wasn't just another tournament, and it was nothing like the boys. I mean, I'm even writing our own names on the brackets. I mean, that was so cool.
And you signed it really well. Girls generally have pretty good penmanship, right? Like
I was shaking. Like
that's what he said. He's like, it would have came out terrible. I would have not wanted to do it.
No, it was. I mean, I was like, oh, I should have just taken my time. But like I could see it progressively got like worse as the tournament went on. Like my first win was really nice, and then it started to get a little bit messier. And then
sweat dripping on it.
After my semifinals, it was a little messy. And then after the finals, like I was like shaking when I was writing it, and there was like so many people there, and I was so excited. It was just like it's really cool because everyone else also got to sign it.
Yeah.
So I get to see all of that on there every time I look at it.
Yeah. And what would you say your favorite memory was from the tournament, from the state tournament?
I think my favorite memory was, let me think about this. You know what? This is kind of, I think winning it was really cool, and I think when my friends came down was really cool. But something that like I kind of think about a lot is two things. One, I met these cheerleaders. We were like sitting on the edge, and there was like a divider, and I could like hear them. So I like slipped my phone underneath it, and they like took a selfie and gave it back to me.
That's like people doing like prison camps. They're like, take it real quick.
It was the Decorah cheerleaders. They were really nice.
That's awesome.
And then they like gave me their phone, and it was like one of like the I Wrestle like Instagram posts of me. And then after my semifinals, I was sitting over there, and they took a picture of all of them, and then they slipped it under, and it was like it said like good luck in the finals, and it was really cute. I never actually talked to them though. But another thing was they had a man standing by the brackets. He was like always there afterwards, and he's like, he always had like, after he saw you, he's like, he always had something positive to say. He was like, oh, it's so nice to see you again, or like, oh, I'm so glad you came back. And he was always there after every match, and he always like handed you the pen and you signed it, and he was so nice. And it was really cool because in the end he was like, okay, you just have one more. After I won my semifinals, he was like, okay, just one more match. And that was really cool because
that is cool.
Everybody there cared. Everyone was so positive. I don't think I had a negative interaction while I was there. And I'm so excited for next year. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'll be there, part of I Wrestle, so I'll be following you around, trying to get all the good shots, and yeah, man, that's gonna be cool. So on that progress, since you are a lighter weight, I mean, you kind of got the first opportunity to be one of the goats.
Yeah.
And I know that maybe it'll be separate boy and girl goat right now, but like you got a really good opportunity for that. So keep pushing it, keep pushing that limitation, and you can do hard things. So keep it up. So what about after state? What did you do after state? What was your focus? Did you do any other tournaments?
I think right after state, I kind of took I went to practice for I think a couple weeks after that, and then I think I took a little bit of a break. And then we obviously jumped right into postseason, all of those like postseason tournaments, and then right into freestyle. So, I mean, I really like freestyle. It's very different. I mean, it's like pretty different from folk style, but I went to a lot of tournaments. I think, I'm trying to think back. Obviously one of my main ones was when I went to Brazil.
Yeah, and you penned in the finals on that one, didn't you?
Yep.
I was like all jacked. I was like, this can be good. This can be, and I was like, what? She just smoked her. She smoked her real quick.
Oh, I don't think they know what legging is.
No, they didn't.
They caught him on that one. But we went to Washington for World Team Trials, which was it wasn't World Team Trials. It was UWW. It was in Spokane, which was really cool. I've never been over in that part of the country before, so that was a very fun trip. We did a lot of dual tournaments. One of my favorite memories from this freestyle season was, I forget what we were. I was wrestling with Red Venom, which is like a dual, like it's a travel team.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the last duel, and we were like, it was last duel of the night, finals, and I was the last match. And I was like, I was excited because I knew that this was going to be a close duel. So we get down to the last match, and we're down by 5 points. So we need a pin to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, well, I'm getting a pin. There's no way. Like, I have a job. I'm going to do it.
Right,
And I ended up getting a pin. So we won the tournament, and that was the first time that team had won the tournament. So we were all so excited. And I remember one of the coaches, he looked at me before I wrestled, and he goes, I wouldn't want anyone out there but you for this. And that kind of stuck with me.
Yeah.
Because, he was so nice. He was like, I had wrestled with him the year before, and he's always like, he was there, like, he's got your back. Like, he would make the questionable calls, like questionable challenges. Because, he knew he just knew that I had it in me. But that was really exciting. He gave me a big hug. I have a really cute picture of it. But that was my favorite freestyle memory from this year. Obviously, I had so many good ones from Brazil, but and like all these others, Spokane. But that was a really exciting one. I had a really pretty good freestyle season this year. It was awesome. A lot of fun.
And you got 5 days before we kick this thing off
for
round number 2, your sophomore year. I'm excited.
Me too.
Do you have any other interests? What do you do? What else do you do besides, hopefully you start liking jiu-jitsu. That would be awesome for everybody. But do you have any other things you have interests? Do you have any like hobbies or other talents that are not visually known or known?
So a lot of my time is taken up by wrestling, but when I'm like not in my free time, I like having relationships with people outside of wrestling. So, I like to take time to spend time with my friends. My grandparents live on a farm. They have, I don't know how many acres. They have a lot, but they have horses there. I have a horse. So we go out there, me and my mom, we go ride, me and my sister. We spend a lot of time out there in the summer. The summer I was a little bit more busy, but like in the past summers, we used to go out there all the time. They have a dog out there. There's so much to do. Even in like the winter, we go cross country skiing.
Cool.
But I feel like I like to have a good balance between social and wrestling.
Absolutely.
So I like to keep like with friends, but then also like even my wrestling friends, I hang out with them outside of wrestling. Like we'll go get ice cream or we'll go do fun things. Like we'll go to Adventureland or something like that.
I've been trying to get this. I'm trying to get this. Somebody motivated that's got money out there to get wrestler ice creams. They got to be like
keto.
And we get like keto ice cream style, and each wrestler gets their own flavor. We could even put the ingredients for success on the back.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? As a label on the back,
Mm-hmm.
that'd be hot, right?
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Shoot, let's go.
Patent that.
What's your favorite platform? Are you on social media at all?
Like platform like for like
like Instagram,
yeah,
like YouTube. What's your favorite?
To like post on?
Yeah,
or just to be
on.
on.
Yeah.
Posting on? I use Instagram a lot. That's kind of like the main thing I use. I don't know if you know what Visco is. No, it's.
I'm too old for that. I'm a Facebook dude. You know what I mean?
Um,
That's what they say.
I have a
anyways,
Facebook
but-
account, but I'm not very active on it.
Yeah.
I just use it to look at like whenever the moms take pictures. I actually created it recently.
Come on, you're killing me right now. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, my like if I'm gonna post somewhere, it's gonna be on Instagram. I use Snapchat a lot, like for communications. We like last year actually. James got his first Snapchat account last year.
Way to go, James. Coming
Yes,
up.
He's
Coming up.
basically a millennial.
Does he have you help you run it? Does he know how to operate it?
Well, it's not operable anymore. He uses like Team
Did you
Snap
get booted
now.
off? Did you get booted off the gram?
No, he just we used it last year for our like group chat because there was like 30 of us, or like not 30, but it was. I mean, there wasn't a lot, but now we use Team Snap or one of those things. But Snapchat's like how I communicate with my friends, but Instagram, if I'm gonna post anywhere, it's gonna be on there. And then TikTok's just kind of like what I use to watch stuff on.
Yeah, it's addictive, huh? TikTok.
A little bit.
Just like before TikTok, before I even kind of knew what it was, I just see people like, and I'm like, what are they doing? Are they deleting stuff off their phone? What are they doing? It's just no, it's cool though. It is entertaining.
Yes.
You know. What about what's your favorite music genre? What's your favorite genre of music?
So my favorite genre is like James. It's country music.
Your favorite's country?
Yes, he doesn't like country music.
A good man.
But
Good man.
my favorite artist actually is Taylor Swift, and tomorrow she releases 1989 Taylor's version. In case you're wondering,
I'll throw that in here.
Yeah,
Throw it in
it's
there.
a big deal. Comes out tomorrow.
It's a big deal. What are we gonna do? What about movies? What's your favorite movie?
I don't know.
Do you watch TV or
I like
movies?
to watch TVs. I watch Grey's Anatomy. I just finished one that was really good. I don't know, but I like Grey's Anatomy.
Do you have a movie that you watch for like motivation or a song you listen to that like just gets you pumped, or do you even need that?
Oh, let me think of it. I listen to this one song before I wrestle a lot, and it like perfectly gets me ready. I can't think of it. It always just comes on before I wrestle, and then like I never think about it ever again. But I like to listen.
Obviously, you can't remember the title.
No, I mean, perfect timing. I don't know. I don't know. Whenever I'm like, I kind of just listen to like, I don't know. I'm under pressure. I don't know.
That's all right.
I'm blinking.
That's all right. What about if you could meet any celebrity or a famous person, who would you pick?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Man, Taylor has really got a hold on you right now. What's your favorite Taylor Swift song?
Better Than Revenge.
Better Than
but
Revenge.
not Taylor's version.
Not Taylor's version.
The old one.
Ah, I see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you hope to see for women's wrestling in the future?
I mean, I'm hoping that we can get like at least 4 the big programs in Iowa, like Iowa State, UNI. Right now, obviously we have Iowa, but I mean, I hope that those other schools can catch up, and like Penn State have a girls team. Like, I hope that like it's not just like a couple like of the I guess you could say smaller colleges like Grandview, Simpson. Obviously, they have pretty strong programs right now, but I hope that like at least when I'm either in college or like when I'm still young, that there's like opportunities for some of those bigger schools.
Sure. And let's talk about that just for a second as we get ready to close up here. Is what are your what would you be your pursuit in college besides the athletics? What would be your pursuit in education?
I don't know. This is something I've been thinking about a little bit more recently. Kind of like, cause now I'm in like actual school. Like it's not like elementary school. I'm in high school. I've had some eye-opening experiences. But I really don't know what I want to do after high school. I mean, I have some ideas. I mean, I like math. I don't really like science. I mean, I just don't really know. Like there's it's so big in open, if that makes sense, that
Yeah.
I just have no clue where to go.
Yeah. My
Like-
son's the same way. He's great at math. And tonight he didn't even want to go to practice because he was mad at about science class.
Oh my gosh.
He was like, literally, we didn't want to go to practice because he's like, bro, like this, my science teacher's killing me. Like, I was like, you don't want to go to practice because your science teacher got you beat?
I mean, my science class right now is pretty tricky. But I'm getting better at science, physical science.
So what would you say about school? Because I know that's the thing about school is like teachers we need in our world, right? We need good teachers in wrestling, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
We need them in general, right?
Yeah,
But like,
mentors.
what would you change about high school? If you could like change it, what would you change to make it academically funner, better, and more to keep kids' attention?
So for me, like right now, I like last year compared to this year is so much harder. And I don't think I was really ready for that, but I mean, some of the teachers at my school are great. Like if I go up to them and I ask for help, they'll step in, they'll help me. I'm writing a paper for my science class right now. And I talked to like 2 science teachers, and they were both really open to helping me, even though they're not even my teachers. And I mean, this might be just because I go to a really small school and like we all know each other. But I think one of the things that might like be more helpful for me is like some of the like if we use this thing called Canvas, and it's a little bit confusing, but it's like last year we used Summit, and a lot of the teachers they called it like Summit, like it held your hand as you learned. Like they're like, next year you're not gonna have Summit holding your hand because it kind of like walked you through and it like taught you better. But like this year, this is
It's
like
different. It's a different program,
yeah.
different software.
But it's like I think they're kind of trying to ready us for like college, because obviously college and high school are 2 completely different things.
Yeah.
But it's just so much harder. Like, and it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's hard, but like I know that it's right.
Yeah. Well, I didn't, when I went to college and got my degree, my second degree, I was already an adult, so I didn't have to worry about sports. But I think about your brother, you know, he's academically good in here and still, performing at D1 level. So, you know, I'm sure that he'll be there to help you as well, and give you some advice and collectively with your parents as well.
Yeah. Even my sister's actually really smart too. Last night, my parents were busy because like I don't know what they're doing, but my sister, I called her and I was like, hey, can you help me? And she's like, yeah. And
That's awesome.
She basically like I don't know what I was like doing something, a project, like I don't know, but I don't know how to explain it. But she like not really walked me through it, but she just made it so much clearer for me. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. But I feel like in the future there's definitely going to be a few more FaceTime calls because, you know, wrestling's starting up.
Yeah.
But this was kind of like the first-ish time that I've been like, hey, can you help me with this? Or like for school. But I mean, it's starting to pick up a little bit. It's not like easy. I mean, not easy, but like it's not really simple
No, it is
anymore.
not easy.
It's not simple.
Each year
anymore.
it's going to get harder. You know, like when I was in college,
yeah.
my daughter was in high school and she was doing almost the same work that I was doing in
Yeah.
the same format. You know, it's just.
But it's really nice that I have 2 siblings that have already been through it and they
Right.
can help me because they're not going to say no. So they're obligated to help me.
You know what your job is.
Yes.
All right, we're almost out of here. So I want to give you the last moments here on the mic to give a few words to your teammates for this upcoming season here that starts in 5 days.
Perfect. I'm so excited for this season. There's so much potential in our wrestling room. There's so many girls that I know they're gonna do good. They're gonna do so good, but they just need to open their eyes a little bit and just realize that they have this and they need to have some confidence. But this year, I feel like we are gonna do so much better than last year. Like I could honestly see like making, or like maybe even being close to doubling state qualifiers, hopefully. But I think we could get so many more girls placing at state. Last year we had 2. I could see 3, 4, 5. But I'm excited to go through this again. Last year, I mean, it was hard, but it was fun, and we were all there for each other. But this year, it's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be like last year. It's gonna be hard and fun, and we're all gonna be there, and we're gonna do it together, and we're all gonna grow as people, but we're all gonna grow as people together. And this is something that I'm excited to share with them. I'm excited to share how like fun this can be, and hopefully we can draw in more girls. They can draw in more girls, and I'm excited to start building this program like in the youth too, because when I'm gone, who's going to be the next state champ? Even next year, who's going to be the next state champ? Like I could see us having a couple state champs maybe if we all really put in the work and work together. But I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah. Well, a sword sharpens sword.
Yes.
And we grow in life. Haven't found any other sport besides wrestling that has given people a strong mindset, the ability to push themselves past limitations that have stopping points in their mind. And so I appreciate you coming on today and showing up here for practice for one, and then coming right on the podcast and sharing your story with us. You're the GOAT to come, and I appreciate you and your parents for stopping in to stepping on the mat. And I'd like to thank our sponsors, iWrestle and Eka Nutrition. So Katie, thanks for coming on the show. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for having me.